All right, so there are some really exciting verse 3 teasers that made their way into the most recent patch for Pax Dei. We were out exploring, doing our normal dungeon runs for Saturday, and we came upon a couple of different really cool areas that have absolutely changed from last patch into the patch that dropped this week, which is verse 2 part 3. And I do think that it is teasing for a lot of new stuff that is coming to Pax Dei in verse 3. Now, the first thing that I'm going to show isn't necessarily a potential spoiler, but the second thing that I am going to show today, for those of you who want to go and explore yourself, I would highly recommend you go and check out the eyeballs that are on all of the maps in game. We're going to go to specifically 2 of them later on in this video, so make sure that you tune in. That is going to be very exciting. Now, the first thing that we are going to be looking at is specifically something to do with a spell that already exists in game that had a changed animation, as well as in the market stall viewer where you can go and search through all of the various items in a stall. There is a specific item that is now listed and searchable, even though it is not craftable yet. Now, when you take a look, you will see that staves are the thing that I am talking about, the weapon that I am talking about. And when we use the Breath of Life spell, which is attached to Oriel's gambeson, the tunic, the thing that you can wear, it is a gambeson, that gives you the Breath of Life spell, the animation has changed. Before, your character would go and put their hands like this and the little glowy thing would happen. But now when you do it, your character slams down as if they are holding a staff. And I have replicated it here, but using a one-handed spear instead. And you can literally hear in the sound effect, the sound of something wooden hitting the ground if you listen hard enough. Go ahead and try it in game as well. I highly recommend it. But this is the first time in Pax Dei that we have ever had a teaser for a weapon type that doesn't exist in game yet. That specifically being staves. So the fact that it's in and we don't even have the ability to craft the weapons yet, maybe that was just an oversight on Mainframe's part. I don't typically like to go and look at things in terms of supposition, but this is something that's in game right now. That means that at least Mainframe is thinking of adding staves as a weapon that we can use in game. And there is an animation that literally looks like and sounds like you are going to be able to use a staff in the future as well. Now, this is the next part of the video that we are going to be talking about some new locations, or maybe it's better to say some updated old locations. These are the eyeballs on the map. If you don't want a spoiler for what is there and you want to experience it yourself, this is the point in time where you should stop watching the video. Leave a comment about what you see when you find it there and go to look yourself, but don't watch any further. Okay, so this particular area is located in the southeastern part of Caries. It's one of the eyeballs. We're also going to look at a different location that is in Ancien in the very middle of the map. We're going to talk about both of them. So this first section here, this is before this most recent patch. It used to just be a church. You could walk into it. I actually have some previous video of what these looked inside. They look very tame. They look like what a cathedral would look like from that period. There was a little stand that was in the front of it, but inside this one, it's entirely different. And you'll see a lot of different things. Specifically, there's this giant bell with fire under it. And then there's also a lot of swords that have kind of, it almost looks like they've been shot out from somewhere and they're covering everything around. Another interesting point about these particular swords is that they're all chained together, which is really, really weird. Now, we do know based on just the regalia or the banners that are hanging around this area that they are connected at least in part to the Inquisition. And that would make sense because the Inquisition kind of has all the same theming here. But it is really, really interesting to see that there's this giant bell inside of the cathedral. This is not a bell that looks like it should exist in there. And there's a lot of chains and chain link that are hanging even from the ceilings. This is not what you would expect to see inside of a building based on what it looks like from the outside. Either way, that is one of the locations down in specifically Carries, but there is other locations all around the entire map of Pax Dei. You can go and take a look at these in Innis Gallia. There's at least 2 in Ancien, which we're about to go to now. And then I believe there's also one in Mary, but I'm not recalling at this exact point in time. And I wanted to get the video out before, just because I was so excited about all of this. Now, let's go take a look at the one in Ancien. We do have a little bit more context about what this particular area is from previous versions of the game where we had the old titles of these POIs. And this particular one used to be called Pilgrim's Cave. We don't know if it's still called that because none of those names still exist. There's no reference to it in game. But when you go up the very large mountain that is in the center of Ancien, you will reach this cave. And inside we have a similar motif of this giant bell with all of the red light and the chains coming everywhere. And then again, all of these swords, which seem to be thrown in the ground and then they're chained together. Now, again, these swords do seem like they've almost been shot out in like a trajectory and they're covering around certain areas. I don't know what that could possibly mean. And in the previous location that we went to in Carries, it seemed as though there was a fight or something that went on there because there were stools and chairs that were kind of scattered about. There was also some ruins of almost looking like there was a fight. And I have no idea what or why that would be. My only supposition is that maybe this is something where in the back of my head, it's telling me that this might be like a seal of some sort. Like the Inquisition came to these locations and they created this seal, and that's where all of their swords are, and they're chained together. And then there's this bell that maybe is able to keep something from coming, or maybe it's being used to bring something there in terms of like summoning a big bad thing. Now, these are the 2 locations. The only other thought that I might have is they're in the lore for Pax Dei. One of the Redeemers, Armazel, and also another Redeemer, Phaonios, they led this group of crusading knights called the Sons of Light. The only other thought that I have is maybe these are the swords of the Sons of Light, and this was kind of the magic that they used in order to seal stuff away. And this giant bell that exists with the flame coming up from under it, which doesn't look good, maybe the Inquisition is the one creating all of these seals around it, and that's how they're containing it, maybe. But either way, it's incredibly interesting. The only other part that I wanted to share is it looks like there's wood posts going around this particular section. And for whatever that might be, it almost looks like they used it to chain people together on these posts. So maybe there was some kind of sacrificing that was going on. That would indicate it's probably not a Sons of Light type of thing. And it's definitely a Inquisition's been bad kind of scenario here. But either way, the last thing is just to mention, we did have a model, a gray box model of what looks to be an NPC of some sort in the first section. The reason why I didn't talk about it there is because we have seen this type of model before. It's like a size reference model. I don't think that's particularly referring to there's going to be an NPC there that looks like this. I think it might have just been an artifact of one of the game designers looking at it and they happened to be there. Either way though, both of these are incredibly exciting. We have staves that are at least in the game files right now. You can search for them in the marketplace. You can't craft them yet. We do have a spell that looks very much so like you should be doing the "you shall not pass" with it. And it even makes it sound like a stat you'd expect a staff to have. And then in addition to that, we have these new POIs that look and feel really, really cool, like something is going to go down there. My only other thought on it is maybe this is something that we as players have to go and fight and clean up. And we've seen what the cleaned version or the divine ready version looks like. And now there's these Inquisition that have invaded the space and put all of this stuff up. Maybe it's something that we have to go out and do and cleanse. I don't know. It would be really cool in some ways if that was what we had to do. But we've always known that these church areas are going to be places that are significant for us as players to go to, especially for things like miracles and all of that. So I'm really excited to see what is to come. The fact that all of this is coming in at the very tail end of verse 2, part 3 with the last update makes me feel like verse 3 is going to be absolutely nuts. I could be totally wrong. And these could just be accidental inclusions to a recent patch, and this is something further down the line. But I'm really excited about all of this, and I'm excited to see what lore is going to be coming with all of them in the future. If you enjoyed this is not like our normal video, a PAX Friday review or anything like that. But if you did enjoy it, leave a like, subscribe so you can get notified whenever we come out with any new Pax Dei or Pax Dei related content, and share with any of your friends. This was a really exciting find, and let them know, because this is cool. I'm pretty excited about it. We were all excited when we found it, and it was a really fun thing to just go out there and venture and see it. Until the next video, I'm Eltari, the Professional Gamer. We do have one more video coming out in the next couple of days. It's the tournament video. I know I promised that like a week ago, but yeah, editing's been fun on that. Stay tuned for that. I hope you have a great one, and I'll see you in the next video.